Welcome to the Temple of Elemental Evil Adventure Series, Episode 18.
I am your Dungeon Master, Dreadmoor. Join us each week as my real-life players adventure through the Temple of Elemental Evil module. Here are the characters that are battling the evil in this classic Greyhawk adventure. Malik, a 4th level cleric of Power. Cantor, a 4th level monk of the elements. Ron, a 4th level ranger of the gnarly forest. Starvos, a 4th level warlock with his pseudo-dragon. Puff, Hisp, a 4th level fighter. Road Warden of the Cron Hills. Let's continue our story. The chapter title for this week's episode is Rising from Grief. Our scene resumes with Cantor disoriented, sprawled on the earth from the blast, gravely injured. He surveys the wreckage and promptly swigs a healing potion to mend his injuries. Cantor sets out to locate his comrades. He spots severed limbs and rubble, yet no trace of any hero remains at the blast site. Realizing that the surrounding figures were annihilated by the explosion, he travels toward where Malik sought cover. He finds the cleric unconscious but alive, lying on the ground with critical wounds. He restores Malik with a healing elixir. Malik awakens, horrified by the devastation encircling them. The two press on to seek any clues about their party members. No one is uncovered in their search, but they do come across an item along the way, prompting them to gather any magical gear they can locate from their fellow adventurers. After half an hour of scouring, they manage to recover 3 of the fallen hero's treasures, including Dusty's adamantine axe lodged in a toppled tree. As they advance toward the gleaming axe, 3 gnolls patrolling the area ambush them. The gnolls volley bone-tipped longbows, narrowly missing the 2 heroes. Cantor brings down 1 gnoll with a flurry of strikes. Malik invokes Toll the Dead, dealing necrotic damage to the 2nd gnoll. Cantor then darts forward and smashes the 2nd gnoll with a swift, unarmed hit. Malik and Cantor together topple the 3rd gnoll with a combination of melee and magic. The 2 heroes resume their search for more of their fallen companions' items. In the process, they uncover Lareth's pricey golden chain and a pair of goggles of night. They also notice a bulky rock lizard approaching the area, seemingly displaced by the blast. Cantor attempted to intimidate the lizard and succeeded, driving the creature away in the opposite direction. The duo chose not to push their luck and departed the area. They traveled to Hamlet, and after 2 uneventful days of journeying, reached the small village. Malik and Cantor made their way to the Church of St. Cuthbert, where they secured an audience with the chief priest, Canon Turgon. Malik explained to the priest that they were bearing evil items and wished to trade them for a suit of magical half-plate armor. The priest agreed, taking Lareth's black-plate armor and his golden necklace, storing them in a secure chamber. The heroes felt confident that the Church of St. Cuthbert would guard these items so that evil could no longer obtain them. From there, they visited Jeru's dwelling. They informed the druid that they had somber news. Gothox and Dusty were killed while opposing the malevolence near the Temple of Elemental Evil. They explained that their bodies had not been recoverable after the massive blast. Jeru, deeply mournful, offered his condolences. After some time of grieving, he told them that if they returned to that region to confront evil, he had a useful woodsman who could help them. The 2 champions agreed to his proposal, and Jeru magically summoned the Orc Ranger of the gnarly forest. Jeru warned that it could take up to a week for the ranger to reach Hamlet. The pair left Jeru's house and checked into the Inn of the Welcoming Witch. They informed Osler, the innkeeper, about the 4 fallen comrades. A troubled Osler offered them complimentary room and board for as long as they remained in Hamlet. Malik purchased a round of drinks for the entire tavern in honor of their fallen companions. They also placed a notice seeking adventurers in the establishment who might wish to join their group. And Azamar approached the two heroes and offered his pipe in condolence. Malik declined the gesture, but the orc monk drew a puff from the exotic pipe, sending Kantar into a euphoric haze. The Azamar introduced himself as Starvos, and he told Malik that he had paused here on his way to a northern temple, rumored to house some of the realm's greatest magic items. Malik explained that they would be heading in that direction in about 7 days to cleanse that area of evil and avenge their companions. He added that if Starvos wished to join them, he should say so before they departed. Starvos replied that he would consider it. On the third day, Malik checked in on the construction of his Palo church rising in Hamlet. The foreman informed the cleric that completion was projected in 2 weeks and introduced 3 new laborers who had formerly been bandits. Malik delivered a sermon to the workers, and one of the ex-bandits named Jurgen spoke up, saying he felt touched by the deity and would devote his life to Palo. While awaiting developments in Hamlet, Kantar had 6 potions of healing crafted for their forthcoming journey. Jaru sent for Malik and Kantar, and when they arrived at the druid's home, they found an orc conversing with Jaru. The druid introduced the visitors to the ranger, Gron, a steadfast orc who had weathered much in his days. Kantar and Gron spoke at length about their shared trials and journeys. Gron, the orc ranger, pledged to join their cause and help curb evil in these lands. On day 7, Starvos reappeared and announced that he would join their expedition in hope of discovering powerful magic at the feared temple. The party set off for 2 days of travel to the Reen Fort in the Kron Hills. Upon arrival, they found the fort progressing well on its construction. They also informed Dak that Gothox and Dusty had fallen to evil. Dak mourned the loss, but pledged to continue aiding the construction of the Church of Obad High. During their visit to the Kron Hills, a familiar face slipped into the Reen Fort, Hisp, their knoll friend and road warden of the Kron Hills. They told him of Dusty's demise. The knoll let out a howl into the air and immediately asked if they planned to seek vengeance. Malik replied, "We are." Hisp agreed to join their cause. The next day, the 5 companions set out from the Reen Fort, some eager for revenge. After 2 days of travel back toward the blast site, they scoured the area for any sign of their fallen companions or their gear. They found no bodies or valuables, only silence and dust. Gron, the orc ranger, didn't notice more than 20 booted tracks crisscrossing the ground, suggesting a thorough search. He informed the party that it looked as if a sizable party had combed the area. They pressed on to the old farmhouse and barn, examining the structures for clues, but discovering nothing of note. They then moved toward the well they had been told about. Hisp used the rope of climbing they had bought in Knoll to descend. The knoll reached the bottom, standing in about 5 feet of water. He scanned the area and uncovered a concealed entrance about 15 feet below the well's entrance. Hisp kicked in the hidden door inside the well and stepped into a long clay corridor reinforced with timber. The rest of the party followed into the well and into the passage. Gron spotted 2 sets of human footprints pressed into the clay. The group tracked the footsteps down a long corridor that ended in a T intersection. Starvos unleashed a booming voice from a cantrip spell, calling out, "Is anyone there?" The sudden, resonant proclamation startled the party, erasing any remaining surprise they had in the dim chamber. Continuing to follow the southern path, the tracks plunged steeply for roughly 200 feet until they opened into a large natural cavern with another corridor stretching east. The orc ranger used his keen perception to search the cavern, but found nothing of interest. Deciding to investigate the eastward route, The party proceeded along a gradually inclined passage that extended about 600 feet, eventually ending at a dead end with iron rungs leading upward. Hisp climbed the iron rungs first, reaching a trapdoor about 40 feet up. Malik followed, then Starvos, Gron, and Kantar, taking a flank position. Hisp used his strength to pry the door open. Revealing a large chamber inside stood a human male in plate armor, towering over a desk strewn with papers. The Gnoll stepped into the room and declared that he had been sent here, but the commanding officer was unconvinced by the intrusion and drew his weapon. Malik ascended the iron stairs next, casting Shield of Faith on himself and bracing for combat while adopting a defensive stance. Starvos climbed 3/4 of the way up the shaft and launched a booming voice cantrip, projecting, "We are from the Wishing Well." The echo rolled through the chamber, erasing any remaining surprise. The captain of the guards shouted, "Intruders," and swung at Malik, but missed. Gron and Kantar remained on the lower iron steps, unable to reach the top where Starvos stood, effectively bottlenecking the entry. The guards outside the room burst into the captain's quarters, closing in with melee and ranged assaults. Starvos made his way into the room, slipping toward the back corner as he rejoined the others to join the defense. Starvos casted Bane on the captain and 2 of his men. The Orc Ranger charged in next, marking one bandit with Hunter's Mark and dropping him with a precise longbow shot. 4 more bandits surged into the chamber, converging on Malik and Hisp. Kantar followed last, leaping up from the trapdoor and charging his strikes with electricity to fell a bandit in a flurry of blows. Hisp endured a brutal crossbow bolt from one attacker, left with a grievous wound but standing. 3 more archers pressed the assault from the far side, peppering Starvos with a trio of accurate arrows. Hisp drove his great axe into a bandit, striking a heavy blow against the foe who stood closest. Malik responded with Toll the Dead, wounding the captain again as he retreated from the melee. The captain disengaged and slipped out of the room. 4 additional bandits slipped in behind him, swelling the tide of combat. Gron slammed the ground with an entanglement spell, restraining a mass of bandits by holding them fast in creeping vines. Kantar finished another foe with a rapid series of unarmed strikes. Hisp followed with a massive sweeping strike against a bandit, dealing a crushing blow. Malik sent a healing word to Hisp, though the healing was modest. 3 more bandits entered from the exterior, bringing the total inside the chamber to 5 heroes and 13 adversaries. The warlock reached for a new tactic, casting sleep upon the 4 bandits tangled by Gron's vines. 3 of them failed their saving throws, succumbing to the spell's grip. Gron then claimed another foe with a well-placed arrow from his longbow, while Kantar delivered a decisive flurry of blows to a nearby bandit. This is where we end this week's episode. Will our heroes overcome these overwhelming odds? Stay tuned to the Temple of Elemental Evil adventure series. Huge thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates.